Hello there. Welcome to the Amma Manson Show. So, hopefully, you are not a stranger here. But what goes on here is education, definitely some empowerment. We add humor, information, and just a good vibe generally. It is not just a talk show, it's a live show. We talk about life, we unpick life, we find solutions to the things that stress us in life, and we make progress together. It is the Amma Manson Show, and my name is Amma, your girl, your educator, your motivator, and I kick your hind wherever we need to. Enjoy, invite other people to join in, and hopefully you have a wonderful experience on today's show. Let's get straight into things.
This was a Black people problem. That's what we've always said, that this is a Black people problem. But the more I have interacted with other people from other communities, the more I've realized that it's not just a Black people problem. It is a human culture problem. It only improves when you tackle it head on, when you find solutions from within. And that's what I'm hoping to do. Let me share a website with us. We are going to go, let's zoom in so we can see what's actually on this website. We are using a website. So the article we are using is Ignoring Your Emotions is Bad for Your Health. Is what to do about it. So it tells you some things about it and suggests things to do about it. We would just pick a few things. It's written by Hilary Jacobs Hendel. It was done in February, on February the 27th, 2018, 10:19 a.m. EST. Modern life is full of emotional challenges. I think life has always been full of emotional challenges, but this particular period, particularly so. The pressure to succeed, the need to keep up, the fear of missing out, the desire for good relationships and work satisfaction all evoke volatile combinations of emotions. Very true, very much so. However, what we learn in our society is not how to work with these emotions, but how to block them and avoid them. We do it quite well between the use of alcohol, prescription drug use, screen time. There are a multitude of ways to avoid our feelings. And if you are Ghanaian, it's the zip up time. Yes, you don't speak. You just pretend to be a greater saint. Yes. You recognize some of these things. When we do acknowledge them, we swat them away with mantras learned since childhood. Mind over matter. Get a grip and suck it up are familiar ones. Thwarting emotions is not good for mental or physical health. It's like pressing on the gas and brakes of your car at the same time, creating an internal pressure cooker. And I dare say this explains some of the mental health issues we see in our community. Emotions have energy that pushes up for expression. And to tamp them down, our minds and bodies use creative tactics, including muscular constriction and holding our breath. Symptoms like anxiety and depression, also a red, of course, anxiety and depression, which are on the rise in the US, not just in the US, it's on the rise where I am anyway, and I'm not in the US, can stem from the way we deal with these underlying automatic, hardwired survival emotions, which are biological forces that should not be ignored. When the mind thwarts the flow of emotions because they are too overwhelming or too conflicting, it puts pressure on the mind and the body, creating psychological distress and symptoms. Emotional stress, like that from blocked emotions, has not only been linked to mental ills, but also to the physical problems like heart disease, intestinal problems, headaches, insomnia, and autoimmune disorders. Are you intrigued? Are you concerned? I most certainly am. Let's take a break from this one. We will come back to the article and continue. Listen, we've always known this link between emotional upset, suppressed emotional feelings, and depression. This is only true for the people I have studied the most. The people I have studied the most are middle-aged women. Middle-aged women who have undergone trauma in life, who have not expressed their problems, who have never made people know their feelings. They are the ones who suffer the most. They are the ones who are likely to suffer mental illness. They are the ones who have the hypertensions. They are the ones who have the heart disease, unexplained sudden death. Do you recognize those things? Yes. And if you really backtrack and you look, it's run in my family, cardiovascular diseases. It has run in my family for quite a while. And I wanted to understand what the women in my life were doing differently. What caused the women in my life to have these problems so that I can do something different. So I've been studying this as a family heritage for quite a while. And the women in my family, they are strong women. They are loyal women. They are supportive women. They champion their men. They don't question society, my mother inclusive. They are vocal women. I dare say they are vocal because they are my family members. I get the genes from them. I get it from them. But no, my mom is not very like me. My mom doesn't vocalize things at all. No. And one of the reasons why I am what I am who I am vocal the way I am at the moment. I have no filters the way I currently am, which upsets a lot of you, is from here. I am working so hard to escape cardiovascular illness, which has been generational. I am working so hard to move away from the things that would predispose me to things that will kill me. So at the moment, I joke about it, but I'm not being funny in any way. I have absolutely no filters whatsoever. If I'm feeling it, you are knowing it. If I'm not digging it, you are knowing it. Ooh, if I have feedback to give you, you are receiving it. Yes, I am not storing. I am not holding anything back to make me suffer, to kill myself slowly over time because I want to conform to societal norms. And that's what I want to challenge today. We have a culture of suppression. Oh, you are married, you should be dignified in your response. Oh, your husband has wronged you, but don't tell him in harsh words. Oh, you should be a saint and you should respond in a dignified way. Don't speak in your anger. Don't do this. Don't do. If you don't want me to speak in my anger, please don't anger me in the first place. Okay. If you don't want me to speak in aggression, don't aggravate me in the first place. Right? If you don't want me to be annoyed, don't annoy me in the first place because I am not playing this game with you anymore. If you choose to annoy me, you will see my annoyance. Thank you. If you choose to aggravate me, oh, you will witness my aggression. Mm-hmm. Action and reaction are equal and opposite. That is Newton's third law. This is a physics law we have been trying to defy emotionally, and it doesn't work. It's one of the reasons why we see what we see. And the people who have learned this simple thing, the people who have learned to go against this simple thing, who have learned to live an alternative lifestyle, actually tend to live a better lifestyle because it is a more sincere lifestyle. Action and reaction are equal and opposite. And I find myself quoting that to many people who deal with me on a personal level. A lot, I do. Please, be thou settled if you want me to settle. Be thou sincere if you want me to deal with you genuinely. Because I will deal with you genuinely anyway. Yes, be thou fair if you want me to be fair with you. Be thou mistaken and cross the land, and thou shalt know the other side of me too. You get to choose. You get to choose. I live a very reactive life. I leave you the option to dictate how your discourse with me would go. I leave you to decide whether we will live peaceably or we will aggravate each other. Ooh, if I need to retaliate in order for my mind to settle, I am retaliating. No, I'm not a better woman. No, I am not a better woman. I am just an ordinary woman. I am trying to remain sane. There we are. Now that we have it, we better move on already. Let's go back to our lovely article and continue to read. Okay. We got here. It says most people are ruled by their emotions without any awareness that this is happening. Most people tell me these days that I am ruled by my emotions. At least I know it because you guys tell me. But all of you are very similar to me, even if you try to pretend that you are not. But since you realize the power of emotions, simply acknowledging your own can help greatly. Consider Frank. As you can tell, Frank is somebody's patient. It's not going well. A patient of mine who was greatly bothered that he could not afford the kind of car he really wanted. Something as simple as Frank's thwarted car desire triggered a mixture of sadness, anger, humiliation, and anxiety. He also had physical symptoms. And although Frank had some inkling that his stomach troubles had to do with stress, he was unaware that emotions in particular were causing his intense stomach pains because he hadn't paid attention to his emotions. He had no tools for what to do to feel better. Current neuroscience suggests that the more emotions and conflicts a person experiences, the more anxiety they feel. That's due in part to the vagus nerve, one of the main emotional centers of the body. It responds to emotions triggered in the midbrain by sending signals to the heart, lungs, and intestines. These signals ready the body to take appropriate and immediate action in the service of survival. The body is ready to react to perceived danger before the person is aware that an emotion has been triggered. It's the reason why emotions aren't under our conscious control. With Frank, for example, his eyes saw the car, and all of a sudden he felt sadness, humiliation, and anger. His stomach went into an instant state of upset. Frank's stomach continued to hurt until, through therapy, he learned to tune into his body to recognize and separate out each emotion, name them, and tend to them one at a time. The role that emotions play in creating both physical suffering and healing is becoming a more popular focus in psychotherapy. Yet the growing field is still not part of mainstream standards of care. And education in emotions is still not mandatory in social work programs, doctoral programs in psychology, and in medical schools. Now, that is a sad reality. That's a really sad reality because the professionals who deal with us need to really understand this. Yet, simply teaching people that emotions are not under conscious control will help them tremendously. Basic biology and anatomy explain that we cannot stop our emotions from being triggered, as they originate from the middle section of our brain that is not under our conscious control. And this is the epitome of our problem. We are trying to control what is not controllable. We are trying to bring something into conscious control, which is controlled by the unconscious. Pretending and believing you have power over something you are actually powerless over is why we are struggling. You don't control your emotions. They are there, whether you choose to accept and acknowledge them or not. You have no iota of control over it. So all we do is pretend that we can. And we fail miserably whilst we are at it. But we don't want other people to see. So we suppress what we are feeling. We create these layers on the top, trying to pretend there isn't turmoil underneath. My dear, you are fighting a losing battle. Take it from me today. If you feel it, you feel it. If you feel it, you know it. You better accept it. You better let it run its course. Yes, you can try to limit the embarrassment sometimes. You can. You can try not to have a spectacular display in public. But once you have moved yourself from the public place, don't pretend that that episode is done. You better have your showdown because that's what you need sometimes to clear your mind in order to be able to really move on. You need a showdown. If somebody's wronged you, if somebody's fundamentally offended you, have a showdown because that is the natural reaction. Hey! And remove some of those filters. They are killing you. It is these filters that are giving you the diabetes. It is these filters that make you overeat. You don't know the link between diabetes and upset? Let me connect it for you. I am one of those people and I suffer this a lot. If I have suppressed feelings, anytime I find myself in the fridge quite regularly and I find myself having to snack, I have come to know that that tells me that there is turmoil underneath. So I normally crawl into my dark, dark, dark secret place and I review my life over the last few weeks, the last few months. And I go back and backtrack and backtrack. And I guarantee you, every time I do that, I will go back to an event. Something where I did not respond the way I should have done. There's always something lurking. Somebody has offended me somewhat. I am aggrieved and it has not been resolved. And because of that thing, it is there and it's chipping at me, it's chipping at me, it's chipping at me. And the one thing that it always makes me do is want to eat. Want to eat. I am not hungry. I promise you I'm not hungry, but I am eating anyway. The things I'm eating don't make sense, but I is eating it anyway. Mm-hmm. And anytime I come across that period in my life, I know that I've got to stop and do something about it. If I don't have the common sense to tackle what is fundamentally offending me, I will get diabetes. I will get high blood pressure. I will get elevated cholesterol levels. It will kill me with cardiovascular illness. And all these things are actually caused by emotional distress. Emotional distress. Don't let anybody fool you. Let's go back to our article. We need to unpick some of these things. We really do, so that we can all learn, so we can all move forward. We can all improve the simple thing that could be transformational in our health and well-being. It says, however, when people are given education on emotions and skills for how to work with them, they can begin to feel better. Absolutely. Frank healed his stomach by allowing himself to feel sad. Do you understand? The sadness is there. You have to allow yourself to feel sad. He mourned the loss about not getting his fancy car because it is something you need to grieve over. You need to mourn it because you are upset. You feel a failure. Something hasn't quite gone right. You need to cry sometimes. Cry! A man doesn't cry. That's utter nonsense. A man throws himself on the floor and he has a full tantrum. To get something out of your system, please do. A married woman must compose yourself. No, says you have no composure. The truth of the matter is you don't have composure. So don't even pretend to have this composure. Just let it out. Grieve, 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 mourn, cry, scream, shout, wail, if that's what it takes, to allow something to run its course and get itself out of your system. He validated his angry feelings after learning they were natural. Of course they are natural. And he learned specific skills to release his anger in ways that are healthy and not destructive to himself or others. And that is the real skill. Being able to know the skills to release your anger, don't hold it, release it, but release it in ways that are healthy to yourself and to others and not destructive to yourself or others. He practiced self-compassion, and we all need to learn self-compassion in response to his humiliation, and that decreased too. Once he experienced all of these feelings, they passed as core emotions do when they are deeply felt in the body. By working with his emotions, he changed the firing pattern of his vagus nerve and healed his stomach pain. It is that knowledge that the palpitations you feel is connected to the upset of your friend, that the aggravation you feel is connected to being treated unfairly by someone near and dear, that you actually feel your bile rise in your gut and it's actually connected with something which has annoyed or upset you. Knowing this is a transformational point, because knowing this allows you to do something about it. And when you know this, you've got to be sincere and go seek professional help if necessary. My clients tend to avoid painful or conflicting emotions in their life. It's not just her clients, it's me, it's you, and it's all of us, just as most of us do. Because that's what we were taught. That is wrong. We need to unlearn this. But to heal the mind, we need to experience the emotions that go with our stories. And those are located in the body. Let me take that one again. In order to heal the mind, we need to experience the emotions that go with our stories. And these emotions are actually located in the body. When we are taught about automatic nature of emotions and learn to identify and work with the core emotions beneath our anxiety, we feel and function better. Let's take that one again. So this is by Hilary Jacobs Hendel. She's the author of It's Not Always Depression. I think I'm going to go seek Not Always Depression and have a look at it, because there might be many things. This is from time.com. It's a great article. But let's read the conclusion part again. It says, when we are taught about the automatic nature of emotions, when we are taught not to try and control something which is out of our control, when we are taught not to try and be beyond what we are, try and control what we are incapable of controlling, when we are taught about the automatic nature of emotions and learn to identify and work with the core emotions beneath our anxiety, yes, we feel and function better. That article is life transformational. I'm telling you, that article changes the way you think about things. Well, certainly me. It makes me realize the things that are in my control. We are powerful, but there's a limit to our power. Our power is not infinite. Wanting to be the God factor, you are not God. Let's use that one. You are not God. You're only human. You can only feel what you feel. You can only respond to the stimulus you receive. And pretending that you did not receive the stimulus does not change the fact. Pretending you did not receive the stimulus does not change the response. The response is there. The real good thing to do is to learn safe ways to let your emotions run their course so that you get it out of your system. So you don't have pent up energy all the time, because it is this which will kill you quickly if you don't learn. If your spouse offends you, tell them. If you can't forgive and if you can't live with it, you've got to make certain decisions and move on. Be sincere about it. A lot of us pretend that we are saints, that we can forgive the unforgivable. It is what is killing you. It is why you've got a bowel disorder. It is why you have an eating disorder. It is why you have a personality disorder. It is why you have unnecessary anxiety. Be honest about what you can and cannot live with. If a person decides to take the action, please remind them that the reaction is equal and opposite in nature. It is Newton's third law. Not much you can do about it. So if you are not willing to suffer consequences with the person, don't take the action in the first place. Once you've taken the action, be prepared to receive the consequences. And if somebody doesn't mind taking an action, then they don't really mind receiving the consequence anyway. You just let your emotions run. Don't pretend that you are not hurt, because you are hurt. You are human. It's okay. It's okay to have a tantrum. It's okay to cry. It's okay to wail. It's okay to scream. Sometimes you do. But you also need to find some coping mechanisms to help you move on from that point. That is when you actually begin to win this game. Feel your emotions, acknowledge them, learn safe techniques for letting them run their course without being destructive to you and being destructive to others. You need the tools to allow you to do that. Take off the filters. I can't tell you how liberated I feel since I took the filters off. The blinders and the filters are all off. I'm feeling it, you hearing me. I'm not feeling it, you hearing me. I'm digging it, you knowing it. I is not digging it, you knowing it too. And since I've actually managed to get myself to that point, what used to be a knot in my gut has disappeared. What used to keep me on edge because I was afraid I would slip up and let my true feelings come up, it has disappeared. Phew, I feel a certain relax, which wasn't there before. I feel less burdened up here. I am more likely to smile, I'm telling you. And it feels great. It feels wonderful. How I wish I had learned this earlier. So I'm hoping that by revisiting this topic I've discussed before and will continue to discuss, in a new perspective this morning, I might actually reach you in a different way. Pause everything you're doing. Listen to what I've said today. Reflect on your life too and see if you are also pretending that there isn't a certain discourse which needs to be tackled. If something is removing you from harmony internally, you've got to deal with whatever that is, as unpleasant as it is. Yes, you don't worry too much about the consequences of what you need to do. Deal with it honestly, sincerely, would be the only thing you can do to heal yourself and allow yourself to have a happy existence. I wish you a good day. I wish you a thoughtful day. And I do pray that you find within you some bravado to actually take on this course, because it could be the decider, the difference between good mental health and otherwise. My name is Amma Manson. Always take on the big topics, the ones nobody wants to do. But yeah, somebody's got to do it. I'm quite happy to put myself forward to discuss it. Scream at me, yell at me, call me any names you want. But then you've still heard my message, and I do pray that you find that bravado to do something about what is killing you slowly. See you soon.